So, with regard to media getting polarized and media getting biased and media getting, taking sides or taking always a side of one particular party, I don't know if this is a new phenomena because since um, since I've grown, this is a case which has come a bit late to me, but I guess this was always the phenomena in United States. I don't know how much was this a phenomena in India, but on the sides of political parties, definitely there are news channels reporting for a particular party or against a particular party. That's clear and naked, to be seen in to be seen with the political to be seen with an layman's eye. But you know, if we look closely at it, it's actually good that media does this uh, because I believe that if a media says that it is criticizing both the it is criticizing both the government as well as the opposition or any other political party for that matter, and it is neutral in its criticism, and sometime later they just agree that this particular fact or this particular problem is which was a grievous problem. They just for some or the other reasons happen not to be biased or happen not to be unbiased, and they don't reveal that particular news, or for any other reasons they just go away with that particular news that was considered important, or they always have to make a decision with regard to which news is more paramount, in the sense that there is a criticism against opposition and there is a criticism against the incumbent government, and which of them could be filled in this particular slot. If all these decisions need to be taken, supposedly neutral media would perhaps choose one or the other. But if medias per se are favoring one or the other political party, then they would try to make sure that all these let's say if a media is anti government, anti present government, then all those things which this government has done wrong will be highlighted, and all those things which the government has done right will be highlighted by a pro government news channel. So uh, and because of this, or a pro present political party news channel, and all of these one could to make a critical study when you are going to vote for an election. You could just say, okay, these are the things that these are the things against this particular party, and these are the things for this particular party, and you do against and for, and then you make a decision. So that is a better way how to deal with this. But there is a temptation, and that temptation is that when you try to watch a particular a political channel, a news channel, if you yourself have an inclination towards a particular party, right, then you are drawn into a whole of a bubble that is created by these political parties, that this particular party is doing all things that are good. So it's like people want to hear just what people would hear, just they want to hear. Okay, so I don't want to hear any criticism of my particular government or my particular ideology that I follow, or I want to hear the news that just I want to hear. I would like to hear the news that I want to hear. From coming from a conservative background, or let's say coming from a liberal background, I would only hear news which are favoring the left leaning people and not the right leaning people. Then you'll end up living in a bubble, and what happens after that the community gets polarized. Okay, you draw away from reality. You draw away from reality, which is a combination of what is happening both in the right and in the left, and you just polarize. You think that the world, if you are a right wing person, you think that the world is against the right wing, or the right wing is very good. You exaggerate your own ideology. Or you're a left wing, you similarly is the case with being a left wing person. So you are drawn into a bubble, and because you are drawn into a bubble, the reality is faded, um, and you tend to vote because of what you, and your actions reflect that you are not living in a reality, you are living in a bubble. So this is something that this is something that we need to look at it, uh, and in a case when there are neutral medias, even if you live in a, even if you have attached to a particular political, you are attached to a particular political cause, still you would be forced to hear things which are against your cause, right? If you are, let's say, supposedly there is a neutral media which is neither conservative nor liberal or left leaning, then even if you are left leaning, you would happen to hear news which might favor the conservatives, and you would happen to hear the news which might favor the left leaning, if you are a conservative. So vice versa, it works, and then also reality will be maintained. Bottom line is that the independent media, so to speak, a neutral media, has its own advantages and disadvantages. Biased media has its own advantages and disadvantages. It depends upon the viewer who what kind of decision he needs to take. I guess the part where you have media, which you have medias, and political channels which are polarized, and which two different things. There you have to spend a little bit more time, and you have to be cautioned of not getting into a bubble, a polarized bubble. But then it purely depends upon what kind of a viewer are you. Okay.